in DNVR Bets Daily. Happy Monday, and especially happy Monday for my guy, Professor Dre, the math magician. Yeah, there you go. 6-3 weekend for my guy. I went 3-3. You know, what can you do? I wanted to get back in on the Avs. Like, I got to get above 500, but there wasn't really anything on Sunday. Lord knows I don't bet on the Bundesliga. And so I'll take my 3-3. You know, you can never complain about 500. But hey, 6-3. How did it happen? Take us through it. Like, I feel like it's like a post-game interview here. How did you do it?
It was really the KBO. It started off with a great 4-1 night. The heater got cooled off, and then I got back at it. And things went really well this weekend. It was a great night for the KBOvers here as I try to find my picks, and that's fine. And then the UFC went quite nicely, and that's really where we want to get going, no?
Yeah, absolutely. UFC, great card. And a big shout out to DraftKings Sportsbook for giving us a free $50 as they have been known to do. It's,
very nice.
Draft clause.
Yeah,
if you will.
Much, yeah.
So that was the obviously main card, main fight, main event. And Amanda Nunes just absolutely took care of business. Didn't get the knockout of Felicia Spencer, but just dominated her. There was a point where I felt bad because Spencer was in a position where she had to attack because she was losing the fight.
Yep.
But the entire fight was just a series of her trying to attack Nunes and just getting clocked. And it was just this catch-22 is like, anytime she tries to do something, she just gets punished for it so heavily. And so she was just stuck. And every time she tried to make a move, she got countered twice as hard as whatever she was doing. But credit to her because she stayed up the whole fight.
God. And did not want to go out. They had the medic checker in that fifth and final round. She still stayed with it. Tough gal, because I know we both would have won a little money had she just gone to the pavement and stayed down, but she kept coming back up. This is a gal who's now faced Chris Cyborg for 3 rounds and now Amanda Nunes for 5 and withstood the barrage from both. So really impressive from her. I got in on a nice little parlay to take Nunes to win by TKO or KO or DQ, and to win in the 3rd round. And I was feeling really good by the end of round 1, and then it just didn't happen.
Yeah, you call it a nice parlay. I call it a loss.
No, it was a loss. Yes. No better way to put it than that. Yeah. Sure.
Working our way down the card, the fight after that or before that was
Asuncao Cody Garbrandt.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, knockout of the night.
Unreal. Yeah. And you have a funny story because you were watching on mute.
Don't make me talk about this.
So for a second,
you know what? Since you're going to make me talk about that, then I am going to tell everyone that you were on both sides of Felicia Spencer and
that's true,
and Nunes. So
I did.
You gave up $10.
I gave up $10, and I did it. I stood strong until the announcements, and I was like, man, I've already acted tonight as if I had this extra $40 in my account. I'm not going to take the risk. What's $10 insurance? That's fine.
I was thinking about it in hindsight after watching that fight. Obviously, Spencer never had a chance. No. But I was thinking about what the real strategy would have been, and maybe we'll deploy this another time, is to put 50 on Spencer. So you're just foregoing, the free money on the heavy favorite, but you're saying if the upset happens, you're coming back with, what would that have been?
Yeah, I mean, nice chunk of change there.
Right, a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money, right? Because she was coming in at what, like so plus 600?
300. I think she was like plus 450.
Okay.
So $400. That would have been more worth it, in my opinion, to roll that dice.
That's a good point. I like that a lot. Yeah, instead of just wasting my money on
or at least 20 maybe. If you put 20 on it, then you double up if the upset happens.
Right. At least there's more juice the other way to kind of incline you to do that. Right. It's not just I'm hedging either way and it's no fun.
But you live and learn.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And
so what happened was I'm watching the fight. It's on mute. Yeah. I didn't see the introductions. So I come in, 10 seconds into the first round, and I don't know why, but the entire time I just had the fighters backwards.
Wishful thinking,
I guess. But it was like from the start. And so I thought all along, I'm like, Asun Sao is he's fighting great. And then he gets
oh no,
he doesn't, but Garbrandt gets just this incredible knockout. I mean, an absolute bait job. He waits till the very end of the round, and he's like ducking in the corner. And you're like, what is he doing? And he just explodes out, lands one on the jaw, night, fight over. Literally at the horn. And we thought, like, this happened in the Gaethje Ferguson fight. End of round 2, Ferguson gets him with an uppercut. Gaethje, goes down, but not out. Asun Sao was out. I mean, the commentators were talking about him snoring. And I mean, what Garbrandt's doing is loading everything behind his left hand. Yep. I mean, that would have left Coors Field, so to speak. So yeah, that was insane. Garbrandt, man, he couldn't even stay on the stool.
Oh, I know, it was so brutal,
so rough.
And Garbrandt, one of these guys who can get sucked into, just mano-a-mano, real battles, not having the crowd. He played within himself. He played a good tactical game, and he really got Asun Sao there at the end. So what can you do? We took the veteran. In the end, we lost.
Yep. All right. What else was on the card?
Then the other toss-up. It was
Sterling.
Elijah Sterling against Sandhagen, the Colorado kid, which of course I neglected to mention on the show because my control find function did not help. So and that was a quick one as well. That was way quick. That was one of the quickest we had all night.
That was our first main card submission, I believe, that we've seen since we started covering these.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
Yep.
Wow. That's wild.
And I've seen it.
You're right.
I mean, we've seen them attempt it a bunch.
Yeah.
But usually, they get the hand in under there and they're able to, keep breathing. But man, Sterling put him in the headlock and it was game over pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, Sterling really just blitzed him early, got him to the ground, got his back, tried the rear naked choke the first time, didn't get it, flipped him over, tried it the second time, got under the chin, and it was something else. That was a spectacular finish.
It's honestly surprising that they don't get those more, I think.
Oh, yeah. No,
because once you've got them, they're pretty helpless.
What was interesting, the commentators were really talking about the key was getting it so early where they're not sweaty and wet.
Wow.
So you're not able to kind of escape that grip as much. You're not as slippery.
Yep.
So they were really early on. They were like, oh, he's in trouble because he's still dry. Like, this is really not what you want.
I love learning those little nuances.
Oh, I know. And
I had it on mute. I missed out again.
You missed that. Those two were kind of toss-ups, and I was on the wrong side of both those toss-ups.
So those were your two losses on the entire UFC slate, right?
Yeah, that's right. And then I did take my own advice of live betting on Magny. Now, what happened was my strategy was he's going to get a takedown and then I'll live bet on him. Well, he didn't get the takedown, but towards the end of round 2, where clearly Rocco Martin was kind of winning the fight, I felt like, yeah, he's winning, but he hasn't done enough. There's still a nice opening for Magny, who was the favorite coming in. I think at this point I got him at like plus 143, and then he dominates the third round and ends up winning the decision. So I felt really good about that.
Nice. Yeah. Good one.
And we closed it out with Sean O'Malley, one of the most exciting young guys in all of the UFC. Looked like he was a character straight out of a video game with his like rainbow colored cornrows. And yeah, I took the TKO, KO, or DQ for him. That was just minus 121. In retrospect, I wished I'd parlayed that into a first round KO because there we got our first walk-off knockout.
Yes.
That was insane. And another so he fakes him with the right, makes him think he's coming low with the right, then fakes with the left, and then finally throws a punch and comes over the top with the right. And just,
out.
I mean,
good night.
That was nasty. Yeah.
Yep. Fun slate, as they all
a fun
are.
Slate. Yep. I'd agree.
Not the best one we've seen.
No.
To be sure, but
totally
still a really good one. They're always fun. Producer Allie has something to say.
Right, we have a comment on here from Facebook. Jeff says, I love the Broncos pod, but I can't forgive RK for what he said about Texas barbecue being the lowest. And he also left a comment on the Avs pod talking about how you really disappointed him with that take.
Oh, no.
I'm quite sorry. It's just that Texas barbecue thinks that they don't need sauce, and it's just like,
and you
yes,
are
you do.
A sauce man.
I'm a sauce guy.
Some might say you're a sauce master.
Some might say I'm too loyal to the sauce.
Yeah. Yes, I agree. Right.
I was literally just telling Andre before this that I'll pick a meal based off the sauce that I want to eat, not the food I want to eat. I'll be like, some Frank's sounds really good right now. Give me what's going to go good with Frank's. So. Sorry, but use more sauce.
Yeah, right.
Then we've got Namya says, came to just give you a like and say hello.
Well, hello.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in.
Chris Hill, of course, is on here, but he's talking KBO. So once you guys get to that, I'll read his comments.
Okay.
Right. And we are going to get to KBO, but first, I want to talk a little bit about this, and maybe we'll get into it more with one of our Nuggets guys later. But DraftKings did come out with some futures for the basketball season that is going to resume on July 31st. Yep. And I'm just going to go right to what I think is the moneymaker here. And it's to make the playoffs. So as we know, they're going to play 8 games. And then if one team is within 4 games.
If the 9th seed is within 4 games of the 8th seed.
Then they will have a little, what do you call it, play-in?
It's a play-in game, right. And the 8th seed just needs to win 1 to go to the playoffs. The 9th seed would have to win 2.
Interesting format. It's like something you drew up in the basement playing like a video game tournament with your friends.
Right. Your younger sister needed a bit of a better odds, so that's what we're going to give her, you know.
So within this, you have the New Orleans Pelicans, and everything about this format is designed to get the New Orleans Pelicans into the playoffs.
That's right.
It's what they want so badly because they want Zion versus LeBron.
Who doesn't?
How do you make a 1-8 matchup exciting? You put Zion versus LeBron. That's what they want. Yeah. And as I said last week, the NBA has more control over the outcomes. I don't know if you don't want to hear it. I'm sorry, but NBA referees have more control over the outcomes of the games than any other referees, except for maybe umpires.
Maybe soccer, I was gonna say, but I mean, major 4 sports, I don't think it comes even close.
Soccer, the referees don't get involved nearly as much. You know, there's not that many there's not very many, except for like penalties and stuff. Right. You don't have truly game-changing calls the way you do with the NBA, where you know a goaltending call here or there can really change the entire game. So I'm not making any accusations. Sure. I'm just saying if the NBA wants this to happen, gotta make it happen,
especially with no crowds like really getting on the refs.
Oh my god,
them accountable.
Wow.
The other side of this is, will the players be chirping so much at the refs?
Oh yeah.
But again, if a ref has been told like, hey, just remember we're trying to get Zion in the playoffs here,
sometimes I think they don't even have to communicate it. It's just known. There's no paper trail. It's just like, hey, do what's right.
That like Sports Center special they did for 12 hours on Zion's first game in the NBA.
Yeah, like, did you see this? You see Zion?
You remember when?
Yeah. So, and of course, you got to get my guy JJ Redick into the playoffs because he's never missed the playoffs in his entire career. Anyways, the Pelicans to make the playoffs.
Yep.
As the NBA so desperately wants them to, is plus 400. Now they're 3.5 games out of the 8th seed. So they've got 8 games to make up some ground and make sure that they are the 9.
Yep.
And I guarantee you if they're the 9, they're getting in. But
you think there's no
yeah, like if they make it that far, they're gonna win 2 games and get in. But I like this. It's the outcome that the league wants to happen. You're getting 4-1 odds on it.
I mean, it's definitely the outcome the league wants to happen. The only concern would be Ja Morant and those pesky Memphis Grizzlies. But yeah, I mean, they're right there. I'm with you. I like the Pelicans better in a series. The other concern here, and I bet once we get the numbers from DraftKings, we'll find that there's going to be a decent amount of wise guy funds being put on the San Antonio Spurs at plus 1,300 to make the playoffs.
So how far out are they? Do you have
They
that in
are
front of you?
only a half game behind the Pelicans. So if the Pelicans
they're
are 3.5, they're 4 games out.
Yeah.
But there are several teams in front of them, like the Pelicans, like the Trailblazers. So, and that's the other thing we need to remember here is for the 9th seed, my understanding is those will be the usual tiebreakers we would usually have. So, if they have the same record as the Pelicans, they could be, knocked out for some dumb tiebreaker or what have you. Like the record in their division or whatever.
Yeah. And that's interesting. The 9 seed, 8 seed thing is great on paper, but what if like a bunch of teams are tied for the 9 seed? Why can't we just keep play head to heads?
Because eventually they want the Lakers, they want LeBron and Giannis back on the court.
It's true, but I'm down for some tiebreaker games, Ja and Zion, and
I'm down too. I mean, because again, once we got these odds, these were both the ones that we went to.
It's true.
These are the interesting ones.
Is there a question?
There's a few comments on here. We've got Dragan saying, honestly, league champion is much more fair with referee than NBA. In the NBA, some players like Harden, LeBron, Doncic, etc. have better protection than Jokic. And then
Very true.
Dan said Spurs play Nuggets twice in those 8 games. They aren't
true.
making the playoffs.
Oh,
they do play the Nuggets twice.
That is true.
But I mean, better the Nuggets than Lakers or Clippers, I would argue, not that.
If Jokic got the and one calls that someone like Harden or those other guys get, he'd average 30 a game.
I might hate watching the Nuggets if that was the case.
And that's sort of what I was going to get to next. Is it's the LeBron effect. LeBron does not get protection from the referees. Honestly, it's the other way around, in my opinion. The referees know if we call every time someone slaps LeBron on the arm when he's going to the hole, we're going to spend the whole game at the free throw line. And I think Jokic is getting kind of the bully treatment where it's like, okay, you're already bigger and stronger than everyone and more skilled. Yeah. Maybe not, people don't think he's maybe stronger than most people on the court, but on any given night, there's a good chance he's gonna be the strongest dude on the court. Yeah. And so they're just like, we can't call everything with you under the basket.
It's kind of the old Shaq treatment.
Yeah,
like
totally.
We're just making a decision. We're not going to call 50 fouls with Shaq in the post.
Right. Especially Shaq, because no one wanted to watch Shaq at the free throw line all night anyway.
Exactly.
Okay. Do you have any other ones that intrigue you here? Again, we'll probably get into this more in depth with one of the Nuggets guys, but I couldn't not talk about this Pelicans bet because I think
the Pelicans are
juice is all over it.
And I think you got to get it early because I could see this rising and rising and rising for a little bit. Yeah, it's just crazy to see the Magic at minus 10,000 to make the playoffs. But I guess that's the case. I mean, the Wizards are 5.5 games out. They picked 6 games so that the East could at least have one non-playoff team in the mix for the regular season. Right. So nothing to report there. No, but I'm intrigued by the Pelicans. I'm intrigued by the Spurs.
All right, well, we will get into KBO, but quickly a message from our friends at DraftKings Sportsbook. As you guys know, we're working with DraftKings Sportsbook, so make sure you download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app today and use the code DNVR when you sign up. For a limited time, all new users can get a sign-up bonus up to $1,000 only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. Colorado only. Bonus comprised of a first deposit bonus and a first bet match, each up to $500. The deposit bonus requires a 25x playthrough and restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. And of course, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. All right, let's get into these KBO picks, Andre. You're feeling it on the KBO of recent.
I guess.
So I'll let you guide us here. I think we're going to disagree on at least one pick here. Oh, Allie's got something for us.
Real quick, I got to give you Chris Hill's comment. He said, when y'all get to the KBO, Bears starter making first ever KBO start against Dinos, that scares me a bit. Is what he said.
That's so perfect. He just set us. Chris. Well, he just set us up perfectly because this is exactly what we wanted to talk about first.
That's exactly why I wanted to read it before you guys got started.
There you go.
Basically, should have a writing title for the show at this point. Well done, Mr. Hill.
Okay, but he says it scares him a little bit. In what way?
In what way, Chris? In what way?
Because it scares both of us in different ways.
That's right. That's the great dilemma. Well, tell the people because they've forgotten your theory. Clearly.
Okay, I have a theory on first-time starters and first-time goalies.
First-time starters MLB as well, or is this a KBO?
Oh, no,
only?
this goes to the MLB.
Oh, okay.
So there's no scouting report on these guys,
True.
especially in the KBO. I'm certain they don't have a good scouting report. And because of that, I think that these guys always come in and pitch really well. And you see it in the MLB happen. You know, maybe they go 5 innings, but they're fooling these other guys. And then in hockey, a similar thing happens. This third string goalie gets called up from the AHL. No one really knows his holes and all that sort of thing. And suddenly he throws out a shutout or a 1 goal. So first-time starters and first-time starters at goalie, for me, always get an under. So I am going under, and this is a high number, under 6.5 for the Dinos tonight. I think my guy, the rookie, stifles him. 18-year-old kid. Gonna pop onto the scene.
That is interesting. I am staying away altogether. So I'm heeding your advice. I'm not betting on the kid. I'm not betting against him. I am just staying away entirely.
Did we find out what Chris Hill thought?
He said he is going to shut down the Dinos.
There we go. There we go. My God.
Crazy. And the Dinos, of course, the best team in the league, super explosive. I kind of think you guys are crazy. I'm adding Dinos over 6.5. I'm doing it.
You're fading
I'm going
us
against you and Chris. Yes.
Wow.
I'm doing it.
It's honestly rude.
Live on the show it is. I would agree with that. Let me write it in my notes. Dinos over 6.5.
6.5.
That is a little rough, but the kids never played before. The KBO, this isn't some willy-nilly league. You come in as a 19-year-old first start, you just blow it up.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, it is.
Fine.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
If there was an alternate line here where I could go under 3.5, I'd take that too.
Okay. I like it. I'm now realizing that what really did well for me on the Friday picks were a bunch of unders, especially on the Eagles under. And yet I'm going with the Eagles over here. This is an interesting one. We've got Eagles, Giants playing each other. They're getting a lot of respect from the sports book because they have 2 foreign pitchers. As we know, the foreign pitchers are the big money pitchers. And yet these guys haven't been good. Jokic, exactly. Jokic is not one of these pitchers, though. And the Giants pitcher, Samson, has really struggled, which is why I'm taking the Eagles to get him and go over 3.5.
Oh, wow. It's only 3.5 there.
Only 3.5. Yep.
That is juicy. I have the over 9 in the game.
Which
total.
I kind of like. Yeah.
Yeah, which I like as well. I think this is a 10 or 11 run type of game.
Yeah.
You hope for a blow up and get the 17 on one side or whatever.
That's right.
But that's why I am keeping the Giants in the fold here, because I think that just the fact that you can combine these two teams here.
Right.
It always seems like once or twice a night in the KBO, there's a bullpen that blows up and you never know where it's going to come from.
That's true. I do trust this Eagles pitcher a little more, and I am a little reluctant. The sports book giving these foreign pitchers a little respect does make me back off a little, but I like your reasoning there. Tigers Wiz is one where I'm taking the over 10.5 here. Not a good pitching matchup. 2 pitchers have nice winning records. It's a 4-2 record against a 4-1, but the ERA is over 4 for both guys. And those are pretty good offenses. So I'm taking Tigers Wiz to go over 10.5.
Awesome. Last one I've got here is the LG Twins taking on SK Wyverns. I've got LG over 5.5.
I'm taking the over for that game. That's over 9.5. I will also be taking Heroes Lions. This is an under 10 here. Nice little pitching matchup for both squads. So I like that under there. That's what worked for me last weekend. And I'm fading you guys. So there you go.
So how many stuff on the board?
5.
Okay.
5. Yeah. Okay.
5 for you, 3 for me. A classic night. That's how we normally do.
Let's go.
I'm big on the odd number. The 3 and 3 over the weekend didn't sit right with me.
I hear you.
I'd honestly rather be 3 and 4. I want a decision here. No ties.
Okay. Well, here your decision is coming, I suppose.
Yeah. So there we go. Well, that's my 3. So
beautiful.
Here we go. All right. That's going to wrap it up for us on this edition of DNVR Bets Daily. Thank you all for tuning in, and we'll talk to you tomorrow.